After years in the wilderness, Israel finally arrives at the edge of the promised land. The land God swore to Abraham, the land flowing with milk and honey. And Moses sends 12 spies to scout the land, one from each tribe. For 40 days they explore it, and when they return, they bring evidence of its abundance. Fruit so large it must be carried on a pole between 2 men. The promise is real. The land is good, but then fear enters the story. The spies say, yes, the land is fruitful, but the cities are fortified. The people are giants. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes. And suddenly the people forget everything God has already done. The plagues, the Red Sea, manna from heaven, water from the rock. Instead of seeing the promise through faith, they see it through fear. Only 2 men stand firm, Joshua and Caleb. They say, if the Lord delights in us, he will bring us into this land. This is the great divide in the wilderness story: faith or fear, trust or unbelief. And because the people refuse to enter, Israel is condemned to wander 40 years in the wilderness. An entire generation dies before the inheritance is received, not because God failed, but because fear kept them from trusting him. And this becomes a pattern throughout Scripture. God continually calls his people forward, but fear causes them to turn back. The promised land itself points beyond earthly territory. It becomes an image of inheritance, rest, communion with God. And Joshua becomes important here, because Moses leads Israel to the edge, but Joshua leads them in. And the name Joshua in Hebrew is the same name as Jesus. This is not accidental. The law prepares the way. But Jesus brings his people into the promise. And there is another hidden detail. The spies carried the fruit of the land on a wooden pole between them. Early Christians often saw in this a foreshadowing of Christ carrying the fruits of salvation upon the wood of the cross. Even here in the wilderness, the pattern continues. The promise is real, but it must be entered through faith. The wilderness generation saw the promise, but fear kept them outside it. And the question remains the same for every generation. Will we trust God enough to enter what he has promised?